This is an awesome interview not to be missed with Aline.
She shares a really heartfelt story, going from having an eating disorder, depression, suicidal, taking recreational drugs. She's healed her life, her heart, her physical body, herself through raw foods. Highly recommend you watch it till the end and get all the wisdom that Aline has to offer. Enjoy Rawlicious Souls. Hello, Rawlicious Souls. Welcome to Rawlicious You. We have the beautiful Aline. Yay! We're going to just have an awesome conversation about raw living, and that is through just that connection to self, living this lifestyle and overcoming addictions. We've got so much to talk about, and I'm really excited on this one. Yay, Aline, finally. Welcome. Tell everyone a little bit about yourself. You know, where you was born and brought up, and where you're at now and how things are going.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you, Queen Tony, for inviting me to your wonderful show and to have the opportunity to share how raw living foods have completely changed my life in so many ways. It is a greatest honor to be here with you and your audience to share where I've come from and how far I've come thanks to the living foods. They've totally transformed me. I was depressed. I was struggling with a lot of different addictions, starting with eating disorders onto alcohol, cigarettes, marijuana, cocaine, and crack. So I was heavily addicted to many different substances for many, many years. And it's been quite the journey to uncover my divine self, to get to know myself and to love myself. And it's taken me many years to get here, but I'm so grateful for, every minute, every hour, every challenge that I've encountered, because today I'm helping others, on this path as well as you are. So, well, I was born in Montreal. Let me come back. I was born in Montreal, Canada. And I've been living in Belize for the last, on and off for the last 15 years. So yeah, and I'm French Canadian too. My parents are from the Middle East. So I grew up, Egyptian, regular Egyptian food. Yes.
Jealous.
And so I had a lot of traditions that I needed to break in order to, find my way, because, culturally, we love to eat, we love to make, a lot of food. So my family was, maybe having a little bit of challenges with all this at the beginning. Yeah. But I just had to for my mental health, for my physical health. I was also dealing with a lot of different physical issues like chronic constipation, diarrhea, bad IBS, digestive issues. I had cystic acne, just chronically fatigued, depressed, anxious, mood swings, all of that, and hormonal issues as well. So I was, eating the normal diet like most people were eating, wasn't particularly unhealthy. I was a little bit overweight at some points in my life, and then I was a little underweight at some other points with the eating disorder, and in and out of different treatment centers as well, for the ED, for the bulimia and the anorexia. Wow. And then other treatment centers for the drugs and alcohol. So I've been in and out. My school of life has been rehab centers and therapist offices. Wow. It's been an interesting road. Yeah. And only when I realized the importance of healing my gut in order to have a clean state of mind and find my purpose, find my joy, my bliss, did I really make the changes.
Yeah, and it doesn't happen overnight. And we wouldn't want it to either. It takes time to even develop all these. But for you to now come from where you are now, it just shows you, and it's still at a young age, how you can transform your life in even though it's a journey, it's inspiring. It's incredible what you have achieved and what is possible to share with others. You don't have to feel in that place forever, and you're not alone. and you sharing and us sharing our stories. We want to share more with people that it's about, you're not here to do this by yourself. We're here to help one another. And we will go into your community, because what you've created is phenomenal, and it's so active and supportive and inspiring. It's incredible. I'd love to know more though on how you give us some details, how it actually, what made you realize that diet is really the key with the gut, with the, how did that shift? How did that come about?
Good question. Well, it was a series of series of things prior to that. I'll say it was a series of like aha moments, like little moments I could remember in my life pertaining to veganism, in particular, my relationship with animals from a young age. So that's kind of where it started. It didn't start like in my adult life, but I remember like around the age of 9 going like, is that the same chicken that's on my plate? Like, what's running around there? And quickly I was told, like, we don't ask questions, like the animals are there for us to eat. You just, this is what you need to eat to be healthy. So there was like starting to be a disconnect in me already at a very young age. But I was not, encouraged in my, my findings and whatnot. So there was like a series of things, seeing like, it was a lamb, I believe, that was like on the spit one time. And I was just like completely traumatized about seeing that animal. So there was a few moments like that in my life that kind of awoke in me, but it wasn't until I was probably around 30 years old. I'm 39 now. So 9 years ago, when I was having a lot of constipation. Like, I was just really, really backed up, which a lot of people are, and we don't talk about it. In our groups, we talk about poop all the time. We like basically eat to poop.
Yeah.
We like eat to eliminate. So
Yeah.
I thought it was normal to not go to the bathroom for a few days, and not have a bowel movement, but I was very much in pain. I felt clogged up. My belly was hard. And then I started doing a little bit of research, and I found out that meat takes so much more time to digest and to eliminate than fruits and vegetables. That I don't know exactly how much time, but it takes like something like 3 days to eliminate a piece of meat completely. And then if you're compounding that with like more and more and more animal products, then it's going to create a lot of back up. So I experimented. I just kind of cut out meat for I think it was like a couple of weeks at the time, first week. And I was like, oh, okay. Like I just started eliminating so much better. And I didn't know what I was doing at the time. I was still having some, pasta, rice, you name it. I was still eating cheese, eggs, but just cutting out the animal, like the meat and the chicken for a couple of weeks, right away, I felt a difference. I knew that I was onto something. So that's how it started. And then I kind of went back and forth and back and forth
Yeah.
for probably another year or so until I was in Thailand. And then when I was in Thailand, actually, I was still eating a little bit of meat when I got there. And I went to go do some yoga with a friend that lived there. And that's when I went completely vegetarian at the time, when
Yeah.
I saw this place where they were like cutting the chicken, and we went to the bathroom. This was like God sent. My daughter needed to go to the bathroom, and we went in this back room, and it was full of carcasses. It was just like a horror show for me. It was like
Yeah.
hanging on the floor. There was just like meat everywhere. And then I told my friend when I came back to her place, I said, oh my God, I saw all these, animal parts. And she goes, well, if you're going to eat any meat on this island, that's where it comes from. And it was warm, it was hot. And I was just like,
Yeah.
the
Flies.
conditions, like I
Yeah.
can't eat this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the smell, you would have got that stench, that.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
yeah, we have a lot of disattachment, that disconnection with where it's come from, and with animals. That was my first, like when I saw it in Thailand, I was like, oh wow, then how do we know what is really going on even in where we are from in the
Yeah.
Western, for me in England? I was like, how do we can't
Yeah.
see what's going on, what
Mm.
how these animals are treated. And I actually worked, I was studying at a high animal welfare university. It was a smaller university, and they had a farm there, and that was what I saw, what I witnessed, I was like, and this is a high standard animal welfare. And then obviously, yeah, when you're seeing how they're treated and the hormones, and you wonder why when we're eating these, how we're so unbalanced. You know, when I question myself in the past, when I look back, I'm like, if I was unbalanced, I feel, well, no wonder why I'm being pumped with all these hormones, and we're blaming ourselves. You know, we blame like, oh, it's something wrong with me, and it's what we're eating half the time. I mean, it's part of it, but there's other things in play there. But a big part was the diet. Wow, so that started from there then. So you started at a very young age, and to have that awareness, not many have that, even to know that having that constipation, because I had it for years, didn't even realize. I thought it was just normal to be, and not to be eliminating consistently and every day. I thought it was like you just go every few days.
Yes, no, it's not normal, and there's definitely something we can do about it. And then it progressed to, more towards the living foods with the juice cleanse. So I started, I saw that movie Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead, and my dad and I decided to go on a juice cleanse. That was like the first time we've ever done a juice cleanse. And I guess that was my first experience with raw living foods. And then I felt the upgrade from, being plant-based and, still eating the pastas and the rice and all that. So this was like my upgrade into the living foods world. It took me 8 years though to get to like an all living food lifestyle. But from that point on with the juice cleanse, it changed everything. Like my palate changed, my taste buds. It reset, my stomach to a certain extent, even though it was a 10-day juice cleanse, but still like I really got an upgrade from that big time, and I felt it in my body like, oh my God, I'm raw vegan, and that this is what I'm going to aspire to be. So to anybody who's getting the calling, I would say, be patient with yourself. Be like, if you feel a resonance with this and it feels like a lot, it feels like, oh my gosh, how can I go from eating all this stuff to being all on fruits and veggies? And it may seem like depriving, but just enjoy the journey, because what's happened with me is that it just kind of naturally fell away. Like the toxic foods and the constrictive foods gently fell away naturally, for me to progress to this stage. But it wasn't all overnight. So just be gentle with yourself and get ready for an amazing ride.
Oh, not amazing. Yeah, a very interesting journey. Yeah. I feel there's no real end destination, but the goal, I always had that. Well, actually for me, was raw vegan was never ever on the cards. Hi raw, because I was following the Raw Till 4 for 6 years. That was sustainable for me. Being in England, I'm very aware of what excuses we can create and thinking, but it was cold, and I was always struggling with the cold. I had poor circulation in my hands and feet, and I now know it's related to diet, but also the cold, it didn't help at that time. And I thought, okay, how can I incorporate more raw into my diet? And I thought, oh, raw all day makes sense. But I was so looking forward to my meal on an evening of pasta and rice. But the first year I did put on some weight and felt a bit like, because I was overcoming a lot of binge eating. But I thought I just wanted to master a high raw, and I always said, nah, this is working for me, never go fully raw. And then it's like you said, the upgrade when I did the juice cleanse, and I was just like, I love how it makes me feel. And you started to see other issues that I'd not been dealing with. Me more so was the emotional side. I'm more balanced now. For me, that was why I stick more. The health as well, I've seen some shifts, because I've definitely been vegan. I noticed my IBS wasn't as because I went raw till eating raw all day quite early on in my vegan journey, and then realized, well, if I can feel this good on Raw Till 4, imagine what fully raw can feel. But I thought it was so restrictive, so extreme, it was never going to happen. And now it's so like when I did the juice cleanse for 30 days in February, it was easy for me. And that was a like you're talking 6 years on the high raw, and then I've been fully raw 2 years now. And like I say, it can, and I can see my clients, I catch them before they just, because we're talking about how cooked food, animal products can really harm the body, and not just physically, spiritually, emotionally. People want to get there quickly as possible because they know how toxic it is, but we can't do it overnight. We have to to work along this path on this journey to
Yeah.
discover, and actually having those slip ups can help us
Mm.
reinforce why we're sticking, because we are conditioned. We have got the cultural conditioning, the truth, like for you, there's a lot of family gatherings, a lot of food. There was a lot of, even for me, with takeaways was a big thing. My family, everything was fried. Even
Mhm.
now, my father has like fat fry. He has the deep fat fryer to fry all his chips, his fries. I'm just like, wow, and very heavy meat based. So
Yeah.
to have this awareness, I always feel like, oh, I wish I knew about this sooner rather than later. But the fact that it's a part of just the whole why we are where we are, and I feel it. If we can really embed that and reinforce, it just
Yeah.
doesn't happen overnight. It can, not for many though. It
Yeah.
doesn't have to. You'll still see shifts and changes very
Yeah.
quickly. Like, what would you say was so when you first, so you did the juice cleanse, was you fully raw before the juice cleanse?
My first juice cleanse, no,
Yeah.
like 9 years ago, no, at all. At
Right.
all. This last extended one I did 2 years ago. So I did 113 days 2 years ago. And I would say before that, I was maybe 80% raw. I was still I had given up on the gluten. I had kind of let go of pretty much all the starches, the cook. I was still having some fried veggies, some stir fries and things like that. But I had given up the pasta, the breads,
Wow.
and yeah, so I was like 80% raw, but like whole food, plant based. So, plant based does not mean healthy for most people. Being vegan does not necessarily mean healthy. We want to be like whole food, uh, as much as possible with mostly raw food. So that juice cleanse helped me to remove the mucoid plaque that I had in my system. So I was just releasing so much day after day for a long time. And then after that, I would say I was probably still not like 100%. I was like 90, 95%. But then I would have, like you said, the experiment of the cooked food meal, even though it was at that point, like, just steamed veggies and a little bit of oil and salt. And it would make me so tired, right? They would just start affecting me in a different way than they used to before. And me too, like I wanted to hold on to that little bit of cooked food. I wanted to hold on to
Yeah.
that sense of comfort and warmth, the soups. Like I was really struggling emotionally with letting those foods go until I realized that this is my path, and I sooner or later I'm just going to have to embrace it. I'm just going to have to step into that, because yes, it's extreme on some levels, and at the same time for me, like falling back into addictions is extreme, falling back into depression is extreme, falling back into those physical pains and discomforts is extreme. So this is the way, like you said, that I feel my best, and I have come to this place of surrender where I'm ready to sacrifice my wants, my cravings,
It's not even
and they
sacrifice,
don't get
it's just
so.
letting go your own,
Yeah.
letting it go your old
Yeah.
identity. We're so stuck on that
Yeah.
identity of who we was. And it takes a lot of courage to shift
Mhm.
into that, even though we know what's good for, we all know what these habits, all these unhealthy habits, these positive habits, we know how much the healthy habits can serve us, but we're so stuck in the familiar. We want to stay there. It's challenging. It's not easy,
Yeah.
especially when you've got all this going on with the world and the stress,
Yeah.
these conditionings that we've got, the cultural
Yeah,
tradition.
there's so much programming, like people, like I used to think, like, how can I survive with this? I need protein, I need
I
da da
know.
da. Like I thought I needed all these things,
Yeah.
and now where I'm at, like I'm almost not even eating any fats at all, no seeds, no nuts, no avocados, like a little bit here and there. But I'm really realizing that we thrive the most on fruit. We
Yeah.
thrive the most on liquids, smoothies, very simple foods. So the cleaner we get, the less we need as well. So I feel like maybe, a year ago I was having a lot more fats because I was still transitioning, which is good, to support in our transition. But then we have, fruitarians that are like eating all fruit and they're thriving. And I was like, how is that even possible? How are they even building muscles? I had that programming too of thinking, oh no, they need to eat more protein and that can't be healthy. And now as I'm getting more on that vibration, I'm like, oh, that makes sense. Like we have all the amino acids in the fruits, and a little bit of leafy greens is good to support. I believe in, still eating some greens. And it's just like my whole perception of what is healthy has completely changed from
Yeah.
thinking I needed meat and dairy to be strong to like having just mono fruit meals in my day and feeling amazing. So it's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like when we're going into this lifestyle, this diet, sometimes we come into it out of desperation. For many of us, I talk a lot about in this, there's not many that come in for inspiration. I would say I'm still figuring this out, where actually I did come into it for desperation because my emotional health was just not balanced. I'd gone through a lot of trauma, which many of us have, but I felt it helped elevate my vibration to deal with a lot of my emotions better, not using food as a crutch, not using it to numb out, to escape. I was sick of binge eating. I didn't have bulimia like yourself, but I was using restriction, over exercising, and I just wanted a way out where I just want to eat unlimited amount. I'm sick of feeling restricted, deprived, but I didn't want to feel deprived. So it's a different mindset now. Depriving myself of health. Why wouldn't I want to eat an undenatured diet that is going to help me thrive in all areas of my life? And when, like I say, some don't see this until they stumble upon it, until their health issue is really falling, and they really have to look at themselves and think. And I think a lot of shifts happened during the C times. You start to awaken into all these old programs are falling, they're breaking away, and that's why this lifestyle, we're coming back to basics. It's like, how can we even argue a high fruit based diet is not the way forward? I feel now people are not arguing it as much now. They're actually accepting and realizing it makes sense, and the beliefs, they're all beliefs, all these old patterns. We're going into a really big shift now. I feel it's exciting because we are seeing elevation. When you're the higher consciousness, that's what it is. We are becoming like, what is consciousness? We're questioning what we're getting deep. We're coming away from, say, this old beliefs of, you've got to eat this, you got to eat this for that. We're questioning, we're challenging the status quo now, and that's why you're getting more people coming out of inspiration than desperation. And I hope that eventually overtops the desperation, because we don't want people to go from that, critically ill, bedridden, all these chronic issues. We want them to come from inspiration. And I feel that's where I'm focused a lot more on trying to just get inspired the younger generation, to feel good with the weight loss. But it's so much more than the weight loss. It's the feeling of stepping in to our power, our divinity. And I feel there's more coming into this journey because of that. So I hope for everyone, it doesn't come from that desperation. It comes from the curiosity that, why challenge why they've been sharing. I mean, I learned a lot through university, even just about studies. I'm very science minded, a lot in the past. I was always like wanted the facts and the data, but then you start to realize a lot of these journals, the data was all manipulated, and then who was it funded by? They're saying, eggs are healthy for you because all these studies promote eggs and saying how healthy it is, and then you look who's funding it. It's the egg industry, and you just oh my god, the veil was lifted. And then everything that I knew about protein, about health, and just fitness, because I was into fitness, and I was always having meat in every meal. I was just, for me to even go from that questioning, I'm so happy that I shifted and I was curious. So have this open mind to see. And when you go, so what I was coming back to is saying is just try it. Like a lot of shifts for people when they go on a juice cleanse, there was like your major shift I think
Mhm.
it's like I said, we was always having those little bits of cooked food, realizing, oh, actually, it's good that we've had these realizations, because sometimes when you're in it and you're in pain of eating that cooked food after being, a lot of raw, you start to see the cause, the inflammation, and really quickly as well. And you realize, wow, that's what I was putting my body through before. So I'm glad
Mhm.
it's showing this pain now. So before anyone gets to that point where there's so much pain and so much struggle, encourage more. That's what we're doing. We're encouraging more fruits and vegetables. So you went on this path of then healing yourself, and on this, you started to share your journey in numerous ways of from addiction, sharing about your addiction stories, um, your healing, a lot of the physical side, your constipation, which most of us are constipated. What what shifted for you to go up, because your group now is thriving. You've got your own community. Uh, I feel like there's a place now for us coming together to share, our traumas and sharing the struggle in this matrix. Can you share more how that came about? How your group
Sure. Yes.
expanded?
Well, you have an amazing community too. I just want to say, like, I love everything that you've been creating as well. It's so inspiring. Your programs, your meditation, your coaching, your style. I love how you share, and you are inspiring us definitely to strive to be our best self. And you're holding us to a high esteem. You're holding us to a high standard because you hold yourself to a high standard. And I think that's really beautiful to witness, to be part of your journey, and also be feeling the call to level up, in my own journey. Like, we always have so much to improve on different levels, and I really love everything that you're doing. I want to thank you for
Oh, thank
stepping up into your divinity and your power so that we can look to you. We need role models, we need leaders, we need heroines that
you. Yeah,
are overcoming and facing their fears. And we were talking a little bit earlier, like, it's not easy for anybody. It's not because somebody looks a certain way that, like, we're doing a lot of work behind the scenes, all of us. And it's just really wonderful because this is what the Raw Living Foods does. Like, it really helps us to become stronger, become more confident, and step into our role as a leader. And once we feel it, like, we just want to shout it from the rooftop. We're just
I
like, oh
know.
my God, like, everybody needs to know how good this feels. And we all have our own way of sharing it. We all have our own style.
Yeah,
And so the community came about. Well, this is how we met. We met in
yeah,
another group. We met in Shane's group 2 years ago. And that was really a calling as well. Like, I didn't go look for that job. It just came into my lap. Somebody referred me for the job. So that's when I knew, like, I was meant to be supporting others in a community, and holding space for healing and facilitating that. So that was such an awesome opportunity for me to meet, others that are on the path, and to work on my own skills, to support and to inspire as well. So that I did that for a year, and then it was time for me to move on and to start my own thing. And I was so scared. I was so scared at the
yeah.
beginning. Like, thank you so much for saying that, because I do put a lot of love and passion into my group,
You can
because
see.
oh, thanks. I care about everybody in there so much, and I've seen what the community did for me. So in that community that we were in last year, um, I really felt like things were shifting in me because I felt supported. I felt heard, seen, like I had a space to go to if I was struggling. And I had seen the benefit of community as well in groups like AA and CA, Smart Recovery. I saw people recover in those groups. I saw people, like, including myself, like, get sober in those communities. And I realized that, the opposite of addiction is connection. As long as we feel connected to others, then we're not addicted anymore. We overcome our addictions. It's that connection that we're seeking, connection to each other, connection to ourselves, connection to God, our higher power, however you want to call that. But to me, there needs to be something beyond myself. There needs to be something that's greater than myself to work towards, to live for. And I say this a lot, like, if I'm left to my own devices without my daughter, without my father, without my friends, I would just probably be getting high all day long. Like that's probably, deep down, that's kind of all I want to do, but there's something bigger than me that I need to work for. So that's how our community came about. It's called Kings and Queens of Raw, and it's a private group. It's donation based. And, if you can, you give. If not, that's totally okay. Like, I just wanted it to be all inclusive for everybody. And we host royal gatherings, kind of like this interview, every Saturday. We're going to change it a little bit. It might not be every Saturday. We're going to have some integration time, but we have a role gathering pretty much every Saturday, either with a guest speaker or not. We also host meditation sessions once a month and a live soul food hour once a month as well. So we gather on Zoom, and it's just a really beautiful space. And it's about so much more than the food. The food is one aspect of ascension,
Yeah.
but I feel like the food is as a result almost of the self-love that we're doing on ourselves. Like when we love ourselves, we just want to flood ourselves with good, nutrition and healthy foods. Like there's nothing in me now. I mean, I still have a lot of work to do on my self-love, but there's nothing in me now that wants to go put, fried chicken in my mouth or a bag of Cheetos or, that kind of food. But yet it was so easy for me back then, but I really feel like I didn't have that self-love or that self-respect that I do now. So I honor my temple, I honor my body, and then I honor others around me as well the same way. And just I love seeing people thrive. I love seeing others like rise above and heal themselves of cancer, diabetes, heart problems, high cholesterol. Like we can heal anything. Just takes the right mindset and the right support system.
Totally. Yeah. And it's just amazing how you hold space. It's so like you can share, it's a safe container. It feels like you can share anything. I mean, it's great being part of lots of groups. Some, like I say, it's a new identity. It's a new way of being. And having been part of a community and being part of so many different, I love all the groups and the energy. I feel like for me, I don't utilize it enough because I'm very, when you get wrapped up in your own little world, in your own little bubble, and you are doing the same things, and you get so busy with life, and all it takes is just a connection to go. Like you said, that connection heals. It really does. I love what you said earlier, and it just feels, if we are part of something and something greater than ourselves, then we see huge shifts very quickly. And I'm I'm a loner, as I'm a lone wolf. I see myself sometimes, a lot of the time. I always say, it's good to recoup and fill your own cup in your own space, but really to move, to really elevate and to help the consciousness of the world. It's community. We are social beings, and when you found your tribe, and that's what I talk a lot, like when you really found your tribe, it's just the world is unlimited. It's the abundance and the love and the support is unlimited. So I'm glad you've created this space for so many incredible people to come in and share their pain, share their stories, share the successes, and go through it together. I'm definitely going to link that in the description box.
Okay.
So if anyone wants to find out about your group, it's all in the description box below. And then from that, Aline, what else do you offer? So you've got the group. What else is it you have as gifts?
Yes. Well, a sneak peek. Maybe we could talk about this another time, but definitely, like, there's going to be like a physical community and healing center happening in Belize in Central America that I've been working on. That has been a mission of mine and a big dream and passion that it will be manifesting as well. So we will have like the possibility for others to come and do juice cleanses and fruit feasts and learn about raw living foods, teaching classes, hosting retreats for other queens like yourself, if you want to come host retreats and things like that, long-term stays. So that's in the future, and I'm super excited about that. And I also offer private coaching. If anybody would be interested in private coaching, I can help you through like juice cleanses or transitioning to, a more plant-based lifestyle. It doesn't necessarily have to be raw. It could be, wanting to be, more plant-based or incorporating more living foods and things like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, pretty much that's the community and the private coaching for now is what I offer.
Yeah, amazing and excited for the. I can't wait for that. That's always, well, it wasn't always my dream to be having offline support, but I know how valuable it is now. I was always wanting to be online for the freedom, the flexibility, and to help more. But actually having that offline, that's where I really resonate with yourself. Is like, wow, having that community offline, that connection's amazing online. To have it offline, I want to be one of the first to come. Definitely keep me in the loop for that. And if anybody else wants to know more about the beautiful retreat, because I see so many people, where can I go where I can just be taken care of? I don't have to think about creating all these amazing dishes, or they just want to have these exotic fruits and just live simplicity, get back to nature, get back to self, meditation, just being part of an amazing community. Then Aline's going to be offering it. I'm excited. Yay. So all that I'm going to be sharing down below if you want more information, and Aline will definitely be sharing when that's being offered. Yay.
Wow. Well, thank you so much for this amazing opportunity to share and to bring my experience forward and inspire others, hopefully, through my journey. Yes.
Yeah. It's you're amazing. It's so empowering, and like I just feel there's just such a relatability. You're so real and authentic. And you can see the genuine. I just don't know how you do it, actually, Aline. This is going to be another call. I'm like, you give so much. I'm inspired by it because I feel like, wow, you're at next level. You are the next level. I just don't know how you do it all, and I want to know more about that. How you can, you're just there for everyone, and it's so.
I don't know how you do it all.
I know, we all like, well, I know it's the raw foods. Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
So, if you want more information on Aline and her gorgeous, amazing community group and how she's helping and supporting, how everyone's supporting each other in the group, you want that like-minded community. You want an upgrade. You want to feel incredible. You want to be Rawlicious. Then check Aline's information all in the description box. So thank you all, and be, feel, and stay Rawlicious.
Thank you so much. Thank you.